Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and Rico Petrocelli.
Rico, Happy New Year, my. Why don't you put like your face right on the lamp?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, brother.
No, look at my face almost takes up
you know
the whole
something.
camera.
Jeez,
I better lose weight.
We're not going to hang our dirty laundry out, but I told you, Elsie should have a flashlight right in your face right now.
Well, explain to the listeners.
Well, we have a little lighting problem with Rico because he has one 4-watt lamp bulb that he's using right now. But we're going to fix that next week. Rico's in Florida. You're in beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, you're in Sarasota, right?
Sarasota, Florida, and we made it. We rent a house here if we can, when we can. It's nice here, but a terrible trip. We had a terrible trip.
Well, you know why? Number one, you're cheap.
Cheap.
Notice that Ellen and I are going to be in Florida in 2 days, and we are flying. We had the car shipped, and with the money you had, you could have had the car shipped back and forth 5 times. But you're cheap. But that's okay. We'll let that go.
Wait. Well, most people listening or watching, how much does it cost?
$1,200. Plus
$1,200 one way.
$1,200 plus a fuel surcharge of $140.
I'm on pension and Social Security.
Okay. You know something, Dan, and by the way, let's bring them in right now. Dan Wulkin from Memory Lane and Jeff Marren from Rockhurst Auctions. We're going to talk. Both of you guys. Okay. He always cries poverty, but he has social.
I got nothing. Nothing.
He's got Social Security. He's got a Red Sox pension. He has a Pawtucket.
Which is nothing.
You got a Pawtucket.
No, I don't have a Pawtucket.
You're full of crap. And
Major League Baseball and Red Sox.
And not to mention
Social Security.
And not to mention that he gets more Red Sox gigs at $5,000 a pop than anybody.
And people don't believe you. Who the hell would pay $5,000 for me? Please, come on.
You know what? All right.
You got headlines today?
No, that was it. Rico Petrocelli overpaid. Overpaid. Yeah. All right, listen. We got a great show today. We've got Danny from Memory Lane. We've got Jeff from Rockhurst. A little later on in the show, we have a little special guest, a little 5-minute deal. A lot of you people, I'm sure, have seen the little snippet of the sportscaster Mark Woodley from KWWL in Iowa. He's a sportscaster.
Idaho or Iowa?
No, Iowa. They threw him outside to do the weather for the day, and it's absolutely hysterical. Mark's going to be joining us a little later on, hopefully. But let's get to Jeff Marren, Rockhurst Auction. Jeff, you have the auction on Elvis Presley Boulevard on Saturday. Tell us about it, man. You got some unbelievable things.
Yeah, we do 2 big live auctions down in Memphis every year, one in August during Elvis Week, and then one during January during his birthday celebration. He would have been 88 this year. So, it's a real limited selection of artifacts from his life and career. It's, his clothing, things he wore on stage or screen, his autograph, jewelry. Elvis collectors are really interested in the things he used to own or wear, and some vintage movie memorabilia as well, and vintage concert memorabilia. So it's a really nice selection. We get everyone together at least twice a year and have a live auction for the stuff. So it's pretty fun.
All right, I've got a question out of the gate. The blue suede shoes from 1956. Yeah. It says here worn on the infamous 1956 Steve Allen Show TV appearance. Why is that considered infamous?
That's the show, and it was redone in the movie this year, too. That's the show where Steve Allen made him sing Hound Dog to a hound dog. It was kind of an attempt by Allen to embarrass him. Elvis fans were all up in arms about it. It was kind of when he started to take control of those TV appearances after that because he was really embarrassed by it. But he actually tells the fans during the second song that he sings that he's wearing his blue suede shoes that night. And there's a famous photographer, Alfred Wertheimer, that traveled with him that week and all the way back to Memphis on the train. There's a famous set of photos of Elvis. It's kind of the last time he's going to be able to walk around before he's Elvis, because Love Me Tender's about to come out. And anyway, I was able to unearth, there's plenty of photos of him on the show. Wertheimer was there with him, but I was able to unearth out of the Wertheimer archive some unknown, unpublished photos from the side of the stage that clearly show the shoes that we're offering in the auction.
Very cool.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, that rarely happens. There's so little photography from the 50s, but we got pretty lucky on that, and they were really helpful over at the archive too.
Danny and Rico, jump in, by the way, anytime.
Yeah, the younger people today, they don't realize. They hear who's Elvis, what was he like? Even though you can see video, but he was unbelievable. He was
phenomenal.
Look at the blue suede shoes. Look at
that, man. Danny, those would look really cool on you.
Was big.
Yeah, I'm thinking of bidding on them. But I'll tell you, what's really cool about Jeff's auction? I just want to point something out. A lot of auctions all over the world, you don't know where the hell this stuff is coming from. It's got letter from this guy, letter from John Smith, whatever. Jeff, what's cool about Jeff is that he's connected to Graceland. Obviously, he's been working with them for God knows how long. So the legitimacy and the authenticity of this stuff, and no, Jeff didn't pay me to say this, but it's great. It's great to see the connection between, if you're looking for something Elvis, you're getting something legitimate. So I applaud that, because it's tough. Someone could be selling a ring he wore with a letter from someone that you can concoct a letter from someone's basement, but getting this stuff from Jeff, it's pretty cool.
Well, something. I mean, I'm looking at some of this material, Jeff. You got the 1972 Elvis Presley signed contract for his 1973 worldwide broadcast, Aloha from Hawaii. I remember that. I mean, some of this stuff. So, I mean, look at this. Oh, interesting. Elvis carried a .25 caliber semi-automatic pistol that fell out of his boot. On a high kick? You're killing me.
Yeah, that's his old security guard Dick Grobe was there that night, and the boot came flying out, so he had to gather it off the stage.
Tom, I had a check signed to Dick Grobe from Elvis Presley.
Nice, yeah. We just lost him last year. Unfortunately, he was a great guy. He was around for a long time.
Now, Dan, you have participated in Jeff's auctions in the past, correct?
Multiple, not only this one, but the last one and the one before. Yeah, absolutely. And you get just really, really unique stuff. It's fun. A lot of fun stuff, very valuable stuff, but it's fun to see different items than what the mainstream shows these years.
Rico, I'm going to ask you this. Rico, I'm going to ask you this question, and in all seriousness, were you an Elvis fan growing up?
Oh, absolutely. There was just something about him. Guys, when I say liked him, meaning his singing and the whole thing. Yes, I really liked him and followed him, and every time he was on TV. Remember when he went to the Army? Does he have any Army memorabilia, by the way, from when he was in? That was incredible.
Yeah, that stuff comes up. There's things that come up. There's usually autographs from other guys. I don't think I have anything in this particular auction, but I was explaining to someone recently that a couple of girls figured out that if they sent him things in Germany, registered mail, he would have to sign for it, and then that signed receipt back then would come all the way back to them. So he used to get his autograph while he was in Germany during the Army. But I thought pieces, his Army uniforms are really valuable. That kind of thing. There's stuff from that period for sure.
Hey Jeff, the movie with Tom Hanks, did it hurt or did it help?
Oh, it helped. Yeah, no, it absolutely increased interest in Elvis. It was kind of great. I mean, my wife and my kids wanted to go see it they don't really show much interest in what I do. So I think that was something. And my mom too. And so it was actually great. It's not going to last forever, but it was a nice bump. And I liked the movie. I thought the kid was phenomenal.
I haven't seen it.
It's not a perfect historical record. It's more like it's a 2-hour movie.
It's a movie.
But the kid was great. I'm telling you, he got better as it went on, and I expect we'll hear his name this spring a few times.
What are some of the other items in this upcoming auction?
Yeah, it's about 75 items. I've got some really cool stuff. I've got another pair of his stage boots, these white leather stage boots that he wore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Rico, those would look good on you, baby.
That's me. And shorts. I'm in the shorts.
Whoa.
That's jumpsuit era. Those are really cool. Certainly, we always have a good selection of his jewelry. We've got several rings this time that were stage worn.
Nice.
He was really a big fan of the diamond and gold.
Very cool.
And of course, the most sought after piece of Elvis's jewelry are his TCB necklaces.
Nice.
And we've got a wonderful one that was given to his right hand man, Charlie Hodge. Charlie lived in Graceland, and he was the guy who handed Elvis all those scarves on stage. So that's pretty cool. And he had a real fascination with and support for law enforcement during his career. So he collected badges. I was just at Graceland last week. They've got a bunch of his badges on display, but some he gave a lot away too. And the Denver Police Department actually gave him an honorary captain's badge, and they gave it to him in this custom-made leather badge wallet. So that's in the auction today.
Very cool.
And with the actual badge, too. So that's kind of great.
So the auction ends this Saturday, January 7th, in Memphis, Tennessee. What is your auction website, Jeff?
It's rockhurstauctions.com. You can bid right now online, and you can bid live during the event after 7 p.m. on Saturday. So we'll have people in the room with paddles. We'll have people bidding on our website. I'll have people on the phone who are terrified of computers. So it'll be good, though. You can bid live in the room online, too.
Danny,
so
I don't know, Danny. I think those blue suede shoes as a gift for Joe Tomasulo would be perfect.
Right? He would look real good. That would change his role. I'm thinking about that very. But hey, Rico, you love singing. Can you sing a little Elvis?
Oh, no, no, I really can't. I'm very shy. No, I can't. Well, everybody imitated him. I remember Vegas, right? They had a contest, the Elvis contest. That's great stuff. To me, this guy was.
No, he was great.
One of the tops of all time.
I mean, you think of we're pressed for time here. You think of right out of the gate, you got Sinatra. You got Elvis and you got the Beatles. I think those
and Petrocelli.
I think those three really changed music. All right, Jeff, we got to get going. We wish you the best, and
Jeff,
Happy New Year to you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Take care. Jeff
Take
Marren
care.
from Rockhurst Auction.
Wow.
Good guy.
That's wonderful. Yeah, all of that's great.
So, Danny.
With Elvis. Yeah, go ahead.
So, Daniel, we have another auction coming up. Well, actually, it's going on right now, and this is the Blockbuster Memory Lane auction.
Yeah, the winner 23.
I got to tell you, Dan, Ellen is about to divorce me.
It happened.
Smart.
Well, it's because I have a really nice collection, by the way, that I won from you guys a while back of all of those scored programs from the Boston team.
Yes.
And now there's one more hanging out there. And I begged her to let me bid on it, and she absolutely refuses. So I may need you to send her an email. That is the holy grail of scored programs from the 1901 World Series. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that item?
Now you're talking about the lot number 1.
Correct.
The 1903.
I'm sorry, 1903. I said 1901.
No wonder she wouldn't let you go. She doesn't know the year.
Exactly. She's got to let you bid on that. I mean, that's the whole. It's 120 years old, and the condition that it's in is insane. On top of that, if she divorces you in 10 years, she gets half. So I mean, she'll get a lot more. So you know that.
Now that's a good point. Now that was a Cy Young pitched in that game. Correct?
He lost 7-3.
They played Pittsburgh. Correct?
Yeah.
And playing for the other team was one Honus Wagner, I believe.
Yeah. Now a household name.
Correct. So. And it
is
player,
great player.
Yeah, Rico. Well, you guys, when they moved you to third, wasn't he still at short? Didn't they move him to short?
Who?
Wagner.
Who? Oh, Honus? Oh, yeah, it did. But he was a better third baseman, though.
That was Sal Wagner.
Sal Wagner, really. All right, Danny. Right. So what about? Go ahead, Rico. You had a question for him?
Well, just saying about the auction. You got more Jordan. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Jordan's still red hot, huh?
He'll always be red hot.
I think so too.
He's a worldwide, legend. He's, his name is synonymous with. I mean, he's a household name, and there are about 335 PSA 10 Jordans. I think this one right now with the BP is at about $180,000. Just incredible. PSA
Danny,
10.
what is the rationale, Dan? I mean, and not to be a naysayer, but
okay.
one thing that you are, you're always like, you don't pull any punches. That card, there's a lot of those cards around.
Well, there are about 335 or so, but here's the thing. Only 335. How many fans does he have all around the world?
Okay.
That it just doesn't fit the supply doesn't fit the demand. So everybody wants to be an owner of that card. I mean, it does not, it's an incredible card. And everything, back in the day, those boxes were about $10 a box. They sold at Hallmark, and they didn't sell well whatsoever. They took a big black X Sharpie marker and they X'd each box. They sent them back for their credit Hallmark, and they never sold, and a lot of them were destroyed. And the cases were $120. Now, on the height of, with the pandemic on the height, those cases were going for almost $4 million. So to find a candy wholesaler that sold them for $120 a case, 10-box cases, here if you can uncover something like that from someone's basement, now they're probably in the 2 million range, but it's just a very popular product with all the rookies. I mean, from Mullen to Ewing to Barkley to like everybody in that set, including Jordan, it was just a real, well collected, heavily collected set.
When Ellen and I did the book, on the Diamondbacks collection, that was the one card that really stuck out that Kenny Kendrick was like really proud of. That I've got this PSA 10. It's a great card, and it was like, most of the stuff that he has is vintage stuff, and this card really stuck out. I mean, guy is really proud of it.
You know what? It's like the image. It's like the Wagner. It's like the mantle. I think it's the colorfulness of that card. It's just the collectability of that card. It's just a beautiful, beautiful card capturing that image of him, going through the air. I think it's incredible.
Plus, he's loved more so than, some of the other guys. But the question I have with a different person, Shaquille O'Neal, what's the story with him? He's on every other ad on TV.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy is incredible.
But his card is
right.
Doesn't have much juice, does it, Dan?
It doesn't. I mean, you're in the 90s, and the rookie card's $3. In a 10, it could go for $800 to $1,000. But Shaq, the big guy he is, the Hall of Famer, he was a great ball player, and he's extremely popular. Like Rico said, he's on every single ad out there. But I think Jordan's just Jordan. When you have that line of shoes, you have all those endorsements. He's in everyone's face 24/7. I mean,
but he's got a personality.
No, he does. Rico, you're right.
Tremendous personality.
He does.
He smiles, and I mean,
he markets himself. I mean, another card, Dan, that really has never picked up a real head of steam was the Kobe rookie card.
Yeah.
I did a little speculating a couple of years ago. I bought that card in a 10. Man, it hasn't moved.
$4 or $5 grand.
Yeah, no, I paid. I got a great deal. I think I paid like $2,500, but it hasn't really moved.
They were up to $6 grand. People I guess started buying the hype. At the beginning of the pandemic, you had all these influencers, these YouTubers, and it's sad to say that a lot of those guys pumped and dumped. That card was a $300-$400 card. Unfortunately, he passed. It went to $1,000, and then it went from $1,000 to $5,000 or $6,000. And we're talking about the base cards where there are tons of these 10s.
Correct.
And it hurt. But back to the Jordan, I'm going to show you a photo. I want to do a little plug for this guy. I'm having this guy paint a Michael Jordan rookie card. He's only doing a total of 3. One's going in a master collection. But this guy, John Post, it's unbelievable that is actually going to be a painting.
Wow.
That he's doing, and it's like 3 feet by 4 feet, and it looks exactly like the card.
Is that going to go into an auction?
No, I'm buying it for my collection. I'm having him paint it now for my collection.
Very
nice.
Cool. Very cool.
This guy paints. He paints like all these baseball cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Danny's with us. Dan, you're with us for the whole show, by the way. I mean,
I got a question.
When we come back from the break.
Right.
But Dan, you're getting paid big money from us, so you're
making it rain, making it thunder.
Okay, good. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards, and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower sellers' fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900 or at robertedwardauction.com.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Your favorite Red Sox is mine. On deck with Nerds Petrocelli.
All right, it's time for our segment called On Deck with Rico, brought to us by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. Okay, this week's question was submitted by a gentleman whose name is Mike Willett. Mike Willett.
You got the right one?
I thought I did. No, I didn't. Here it is. I'm sorry. Sean Clark. Sean Clark.
Yeah, Sean, yeah.
Rico, do players talk among themselves when they are unhappy with off-season moves made by management, a.k.a. the Red Sox?
Well, any of the teams, sure. The players, if they're around each other and somebody gets traded, or even the team, let's say I have a multi-year contract with a team X, and all of a sudden the ownership is not signing, one of the top players on my team the year before. Sure, what the heck are they doing? What's the story? We need pitching, and then, after all that, you go to spring training and you try your best. I mean, no matter what you have. But I guarantee that the player down deep inside knows if his team has a chance to win, say, a division or get into a wild card. And that's the hope, more so than anything now. It's the hope that a team, players who know they're not as good as some other teams, will hope they get the wild card possibility.
But do you guys, I don't know, an example maybe of a bonehead move that Dick O'Connell made when you played? Or, did you pick up a phone and call Yaz or talk to Freddie Lynn and say, what the hell are they doing? Do you guys ever talk amongst yourselves?
Yeah.
Really?
We do. Sure, yeah. Stay in touch. We stay in touch in the off season, not, every week. But, something happens. A guy is traded. Sure, we'll talk about it. We'll give our, not in public because, if you do, it's going to be big headlines and could be a lot of problems. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Last question, Danny. Jump in here anytime you want. Asking.
He's a Yankee fan, isn't he?
Well, he is. He is.
I know. No. It's hey.
All right. So one last question, Rico, to add on to this discussion. Sure. So when you guys brought in somebody that just was not the right move, you guys were unhappy that they brought him in. How did the team treat that player?
Now, you might not have been happy. Let's say a catcher.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, we're looking into this guy, and we couldn't get him, so we got this guy. So, you might say, "Oh, geez, what the heck were they doing?" But once you get together, he's a teammate, and you just you treat him as a teammate and as a friend, and so on. So once he gets there, everybody has opinion, just like fans. They have an opinion. Why didn't the Red Sox sign Bogarts? They didn't want to spend the money. That's why. And they got probably got another shortstop, a young kid or Story.
Yep.
So, but
hey Tom.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Real quick question: Are you going to ask Rico to go outside and tell you what the weather is in Sarasota, or is he going to?
Oh yeah. Well, something.
Bit by an alligator.
I think that would be appropriate.
That'd be cool.
Okay. Last week or the week before, this guy became an overnight sensation. He really did. You know why? Because he's got a sense of humor, and that's something that we like, is a sense of humor.
What guy?
Wait a second, Rico. Oh. This isn't called an intro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mark Woodley, a sports anchor and reporter for KWWL, an NBC News affiliate in eastern Iowa, was pressed into service as a massive snowstorm moved across the plains. Temperatures plunged to 12 degrees in the morning and continued to drop, and it was snowing heavily at times. And Mark broadcast live from the streets of Waterloo for more than 3 hours. We're going to show a little snippet of Mark. I tell you, man, I laugh every time I see this. Let's run this.
Mark, how you feeling out there?
Again, the same way I felt about 8 minutes ago when you asked me that same question. I normally do sports. Everything is canceled here for the next couple of days. So what better time to ask the sports guy to come in about 5 hours earlier than he would normally wake up, go stand out in the wind and the snow and the cold and tell other people not to do the same. I didn't even realize that there was a 3:30 also in the morning. until today. It's absolutely fantastic, Ryan. You know, I'm used to these evening shows that are only 30 minutes long, and generally on those shows, I'm inside. So this is a really long show. Tune in for the next couple hours to watch me progressively get crankier and crankier. How do I get that Storm Chaser 7 duty? I feel like Clint got the better end of that deal. You know, that thing's heated. The outdoors currently is not heated. Well, I'll tell you what, Ryan, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news is that I can still feel my face right now. The bad news is I kind of wish I couldn't. Can I go back to my regular job? I'm pretty sure, Ryan, that you guys added an extra hour to this show just because somebody likes torturing me, because compared to 2.5 hours ago, it is just getting colder and colder. Live in Waterloo for the last time this morning, thankfully, I'm Mark Woodley, News 7 KWWL.
Mark, all I can say, Mark, that was fabulous. How many hits, Mark, have you guys gotten?
I believe the tweet now has been seen about 32 million times. The video is at 8 million at this point.
It's incredible.
And the surprising thing to me was not just how big it got. I mean, no one would ever think this would happen, but how fast it happened. It was like within 2 hours of me posting that, I started getting texts from people telling me I was going viral. Like Rex Chapman tweeted it right away. Judd Apatow got a hold of it right away. And it was the most bizarre day of my life.
3 o'clock in the morning, all you had to do is have the camera move to the street, and here's the weather. It's snowing. It's miserable out. See you later.
Tom,
that was great.
I thought he exceeded my views with Pawn Stars. I thought 8 million was big. He's like 4X.
I know that.
Oh, yeah,
and by the way, Mark, say hi to Dan Wulkin. Dan is from Memory Lane Auctions, but also from Pawn Stars.
Wow, Dan is fabulous to meet you, man.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you too. I want an autographed baseball from you. So you need to sign a ball. I mean, if you don't mind. I need to have an autographed baseball of yours.
All right.
Anytime, man. It's just weird that anyone would ask that.
Hey, Mark, what was the reaction of upper management once this all came down?
Well, you know, the funny thing about that, I was only going to put this on my personal Facebook page, you know, just for friends and family, you know, look at the sports guy outside doing weather when the wind chill is pushing -40 at that point. And so that's as far as this was going to go. And then my sister-in-law convinced me to put it on Twitter. And the reason I didn't, was I had a little bit of concern about what management would think about it, but figured why not? 20, 30 people are going to like this. It's going to go away, and it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. And 3 hours later, when I start getting those texts, 75% of me is kind of giddy about what's happening. The other 25% is terrified that I might not have a job the next day. But, you know, my first interaction with my news director once this started happening was when he called me to tell me the Washington Post wanted to speak with me. And
wow,
they were cool about it. They chose to roll with it. I'm not sure how they felt about it right away, but I suppose once it blew up, they decided we're just going to roll with this. And
well, it certainly, with all due respect, it certainly gave KWWL a little boost, right? I mean, it had to, right?
A little more than we usually do. I just got back from covering the Iowa-Kentucky game in the Music City Bowl. And it was actually a little bit difficult to do my job because I got stopped quite a bit to take pictures, which was a lot of fun.
That's great.
But, yeah.
Wow.
It's been a bizarre week.
Well, you know something? I mean, the Boston market, I'm sure you know, is pretty big. And I think we could certainly use you up in the Boston market if you're interested.
I was going to say.
Rico, you can pull some strings for him with the Sox.
Well, no, I was thinking the same thing.
He'd be great. He'd be great.
I bet New York, Boston, some of the bigger, markets would be calling you. But
I'm used to the weather,
your boss doesn't want to hear that, I don't think.
I mean, Danny.
Not the Hollywood.
I'll let you guys discuss that. I'll leave it alone for the moment.
But no, Danny, all kidding aside, Danny, isn't this the stuff that kind of some people can use as a catapult for their careers? I mean, this was gold.
100%.
It was terrific.
I agree 100%. I mean, you can utilize this, to but you know what? I'm sure Mark loves where he's at. And I think it's exciting to have the boost Mark, that you've had, and it's something that you just run with it. And I think, the station, I'm sure, is there'll be more viewership, based on that. It's just so
well. Now, what are you gonna do for an encore?
Exactly, that's a good question.
That's a good question. There's a lot of pressure. Everybody else around here wants me to keep doing weather. I'm the one who really does not want to touch that.
Do it underwater.
Well, listen, you're a great sport. Right. We wish you the best, man. I tell you,
absolutely.
That little snippet put a smile on a lot of people's faces over the Christmas holiday, man.
Really.
You should be proud of it.
I got one question for Mark.
Sure.
Mark, do you collect any memorabilia or cards? As a kid, did you collect autographs or any of that type of stuff?
As a kid, I was all over baseball cards. I have a little bit of memorabilia, not too much. I played in a softball game a few years ago at the Field of Dreams with Edgar Martinez and Ozzie Smith. Reggie Jackson was there, and I've got a bat signed by all those guys. That's one of my favorite things that I own. But I haven't, been collecting a ton.
Well, something. Okay. Number one, Rico will be more than happy to send you. Rico, you give us your address. Rico, you can send him a nice personalized all-star photo of Rico Petrocelli, Red Sox Hall of Famer.
I would love that. That's great.
Darts, absolutely.
We'll get something out to you for your.
It was terrific, Mark. We really do wish you the best because you get a
Rico. What the hell are you doing? You're holding the lamp over your head.
Yeah, how the hell do you want me to light? I got the light here.
Mark, you have to.
I don't have enough light.
You have to excuse my partner.
I go back. I feel like a mafia guy who's been in.
Mark, what happened is, so that you understand.
Here's the thing. I'm doing the same thing, but I've got my light propped up here. I'm not just holding onto it.
Well,
I'm an amateur.
So you understand, Mark. Rico is typically in the studio with me, but now he's in Florida for the winter, and I'm leaving the day after tomorrow. But Rico is trying to get his lighting situation a little better than what it is. Right now, he looks like Count Dracula. But
Rico just wants to go viral.
No, I don't want to go viral. No, please. No way.
Yeah. Whatever. It looks great, man. It looks great.
All right, Mark.
Really
listen,
thanks, Mark.
Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. We wish you nothing but the best. And email me your address, and we'll get something in the mail to you.
Will do, Tom. It's so great to talk to all of you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Take care,
Mark.
Mark Woodley, KWWL in Easton, Iowa. Easton, Iowa, man.
Yeah.
Easton, Iowa. All right. So we got some time before we take a break? Yeah. All right. Hey, Danny, let's talk a couple more questions about, and I had my list here because there was some cool stuff. If I can find it.
I'll tell you what, that Babe Ruth baseball.
That's right on the list here.
Let me tell you about that. A single sign American League ball. The autograph is. I told the guy that was consigning it. I said it'd be a great idea just to cover all bases and get a letter of authenticity from everyone. So Beckett graded a 9, PSA graded an 8, JSA put a letter on it. The autograph is unbelievable. It's a PSA 8. It's stunning. It's only at like $22,000. It's really, I see that going through the roof.
You also have a Lajoie, a 33 Gaudy Lajoie.
Wait a second.
Oh, you wanted to ask that question?
Well, no, I want to get things straight here.
Okay.
I took French for 3 years in school.
Okay.
Now, it's Lajoie.
It isn't Lajoie. It's Lajoie.
No, he doesn't know what the hell he was talking about, Lajoie.
Danny, how do you pronounce it? Danny, come on, help
me. Danny, don't.
It's Lajoie.
Lajoie.
Lajoie, Lajoie.
He pronounced it Lajoie. Lajoie. Okay.
All right.
So you have a Lajoie, 33 Lajoie Gaudy. Tough card to come upon. How's it doing?
Yeah,
how's it doing?
Yeah.
How's it doing right now?
Right now, it's about 90 with the BP, translating the BP buyer's premium. It's an unbelievable card. I mean, that's the card, that everybody needs for the, the 33 Gaudy set. It was the premium. It was the one that, had to be sent in to be getting, it's an amazing card. Amazing card.
You have some unopened packs also, correct?
Yeah, Mars Attack. that Mars Attack is at about 70 grand right now. It's one of, correct me if I'm not wrong, it's one of 2 packs known, and that's also a real high grade pack. I think that it's a Pop 1, it's a PSA 8, and it's about 55,000 plus the BP, and again, an extremely rare pack.
Wow. All right, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, the Phantom is going to be joining us. Jared Kavile, his nickname is the Phantom.
The Phantom.
That's why we call him the Phantom, because the prior 6 times the Phantom disappeared, but I can see him. I actually can see him, and we are thrilled that he's coming on. So Jared from Pristine is going to be joining us with Dan and with Rico. Hang in. We'll be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Kavile and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, We will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
They are prized possessions, and you need a place to store them that is safe and secure. The eBay Vault is exactly that. An insured, climate-controlled facility with state-of-the-art security that guards your valuable collection around the clock. Your Vault account is protected by two-step verification and easily accessible through eBay Collection. And everything stored in the eBay Vault is backed by Authenticity Guarantee. Buying and selling is a seamless experience. When you buy an eligible card on eBay, it can be sent directly to the eBay Vault at checkout. Or, if it's already in the eBay Vault, you can just keep it there. And selling from the eBay Vault is just as easy. Every card in the vault has been expertly inspected, detailed, and photographed, so you can quickly sell it with a pre-populated listing. And if your buyer chooses to withdraw their card from the eBay Vault, we handle packing, shipping, and insurance. And same goes for you. If you want that rare rookie card in your hands, you can have it shipped to you at any time. Collect like a pro with the eBay Vault.
Folks, the eBay Vault is climate controlled, insured, and protected with 24-hour security. Soon, you'll be able to send cards already in your collection directly to the eBay Vault. They will take high-quality photos of the front and back of the card.
You belong in a vault.
And document all the details for your...
Oh, my God. Danny, you're a part of the problem, Dan.
All right. Pleasure and to make the listing to sell process seamless. For more info, go to eBay, connecting buyers and sellers globally.
See, Dan, you enable him. That's the problem here.
I don't know.
It's Mark Woodley. He wants to go viral.
Unbelievable. All right, listen, we are thrilled to finally get this guy on the air with us. But we're persistent on the air with us right now. And for your viewing pleasure is our good friend Jared Kavile from Pristine Auctions. Mr. Kavile, first of all, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't have...
You got no earphones, huh?
Audio.
Read lips?
Can you hear us?
Audio.
There we
go.
There we go.
Hey. Happy New Year, guys.
Hey, Jared. How are you? Jared, you know Dan, don't you? You guys know each other?
I believe. I don't know. Have we met in person? Probably at some point.
Possibly like at a national or something like that. But I don't get how you guys do it. It's incredible how you have 17.9 million auctions. What you're doing is incredible.
How do you do it? How do you do it, Jared?
Well, I always say we kind of do what nobody else wants to do. So that's where we found our little niche, right?
I mean,
we just got an incredible team, huge team here, and man, we just grind. Everybody here on our team grinds. We wear everyone wears multiple hats, and we don't rest. Well, I just rested. We just rested for the holidays. But
you know what's interesting? That obviously Danny's from Memory Lane, you're from Pristine. You guys have wildly successful auction houses, but yet you're totally in two different paths, and you're both successful. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, Jared, tell us about this New Year's auction. I mean, some of the stuff you have is incredible.
Yeah, so it's one of those. So every Thursday now, we've been doing a specialty auction. So this one's the New Year's one, of course, just in honor of the New Year. And it's just filled. I think there's about 1,500 lots, and it's just filled with kind of something for everybody. There's a Messi jersey in there. I was just kind of getting caught up myself because I'm just getting back from the mountains, from vacation. But I saw there was a Suns jersey there, 92-93 Suns team jersey, which is a one for my heart here, being in Phoenix. There's a Nolan Ryan signed rookie card, PSA encapsulated, a little bit of everything, kind of just a little bit of everything.
Did I see a Pele signed jersey, or was that? Did I?
Possibly. I mean, we definitely see them. I don't know if I saw one necessarily in that specific auction, but always got multiple formats running.
I mean,
so
the soccer stuff. The soccer stuff you have is incredible, and I mean, since the World Cup, are you seeing a bump in soccer memorabilia and soccer cards?
Yeah, even I don't know if I've ever watched a soccer match in my life, but I actually watched a couple World Cup matches. So if I'm watching, everyone is, right?
I mean, that was the same thing with me.
You've definitely seen a bump, especially with Messi stuff. Of course, Pele, with the unfortunate passing of Pele, big bump in his stuff. Soccer is definitely hot right now.
Danny, do you guys get into soccer at all?
No, not as much. We stick with what we know. The vintage pre-75 baseball cards, memorabilia like that. Soccer is a specific niche. I'll tell you, they like with Pele cards from the 50s, 60s. A lot of that high grade stuff goes for is 5, 6, it's 7. You'll see 7 figures. I know that my friends were with Pele about a month ago in Brazil for the 3rd time, and they were dealing with him and his collection. So you're going to see something come out big, into the industry soon. But soccer really not for us, even though, like I said, there's some 5, 6, 7 figure cards.
Jared, you also
mostly Europe.
You also get into a lot of non-sports items, memorabilia, music, instruments. I mean, how do you accumulate all of these different types of memorabilia? I mean, you guys go out looking for it specifically? Like you have a music department, an art department, a jewelry department?
Yeah, I mean, we have a general sales department that's really going out and getting everything. But, a lot of our stuff comes organically just because of, the service we've provided. We've got thousands of consigners that are sending stuff really on a regular basis. So it's kind of whatever comes in the back door. So we don't have a ton of control. It's kind of whatever the market is dictating is really what's coming through the back door. And we're just nonstop processing memorabilia, reviewing it, making sure it's authentic, and then plugging away, getting it on the site.
Rico?
Since Europe is, number one, soccer, do you get much interest from people, in Europe?
Good question.
With in the auctions and to bid?
Yeah, we definitely see worldwide action, a lot of bidding. We don't specifically advertise there, but just naturally, some of them find our site with Google searches and things like that. But most of our advertising is specific to US and Canada. But we see all kinds of orders going out to all over the world.
Yeah.
Dan, what about, I asked, not Dan, I'm sorry, Jared, I asked Dan this question. What about, are you still seeing a spike in unopened packs?
That's not something we get a ton of. A lot of the stuff we get is, probably more mid-tier, low-value stuff. We've been seeing a lot of the junk wax era stuff coming through, which is, kind of caters to some of our audience. That's probably more their niche than ours. But again, it's whatever's kind of coming through, we're processing and plugging away at. But that's just not something we generally see a ton of. We see some of it, but just not a ton.
Very interesting.
I think I'm going to start sending a couple of my pieces to Jared. I just got a bunch of Johnny Depp stuff signed. So I think I have things that I'm sure you guys can use that we just don't put in our auction that are collecting dust in our inventory. So I think I think we're going to do something.
Good idea. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, when is your? I shouldn't ask you the question. When does your auction ends? Because your auctions never end.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest. It's almost hard. If you ask me, it's hard for me to run through all of our auctions. But the easiest thing to tell people is every day come to our site, and there is at least one and generally multiple auctions ending, including throughout the day on a schedule. We have a 10-minute auction, which is a ton of fun.
That's crazy.
Literally 10 auctions popping up every 10 minutes, and they only last 10 minutes. There's no extended bidding, so it's pretty fun.
I equate your site like going to the supermarket with a basket and walking up and down the aisles and just say, wow, I want this or I want that, because people literally can shop there every single day.
And how do they, you're doing a 10-minute auction, how does the numbers, obviously, the market dictate what it dictates. It's early here, so I'm trying to get my words together. But for someone to give you something of high value and then they only have 10 minutes, the consigner, it's amazing how so a consigner won't be nervous because they're like, I hope it gets up to
X amount of dollars, right?
Yeah.
And we're mindful of what we put in there. We're not going to put a Babe Ruth signed baseball in there. I hope. I mean, it'd be fun if we did, but I always joke about that. But we never have. We never have done that. We might do that on some special crazy promotion, but for the most part, it's more of the mid tier. Some of the cheaper stuff ends up there just because there's not as much risk. And some things do better there than others. So our team's mindful of that and make sure that they are mindful of what they put in there. Yeah,
it's so cool.
It really is. Jared, your website address?
Yeah, pristineauction.com.
Listen, if you want something, that's the site to go to. There's never, you can always find something. Let's put it that way. Happy New Year, and we're really glad we finally got you on. We really,
yeah.
All right, Jared.
Jared.
Take care.
I appreciate it. See you
Not
guys.
a problem. Jared Kavile from Pristine Auctions. Hey, before we get back to Danny, we got a few minutes left, right?
Yeah.
Primetime Events is proud to announce that the New England Card Show is back for 2023. This great event is taking place on Saturday, January 7th at the Mass Mutual Center in downtown Springfield, Mass., located at 1277 Main Street. It's going to be over 200 tables featuring some of the best vendors in the country. Not only that, but JSA will be on site for your authentication needs. 2 New England sports legends will be on site at the show. Hall of Fame coach Jim Calhoun will be available for autographs from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And Celtics Hall of Fame legend, the Chief, Robert Parrish, will be signing from 1 to 3. Great featured vendors like Card Vault, JSA, all sorts of sports store, and Elite Breaks on site with Panini box giveaways for all and much more. That's the New England Card Show, the ultimate sports card show experience. For more information, you can call 860-819-4343. That's 860-819-4343. Or go to necardshow.com for details. Our good friend John Damaris does a nice job. That's an up-and-coming card show. Hey, Danny, we got a few minutes left. What is 2023 going to look like? What's your prediction?
I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's, again, the rare low pop cards. They're still commanding a lot of money. Vintage unopened, I think what, is going to see a big correction is the new stuff. And we're already seeing that. But, I think that we're in for new great heights of value. And, I think everybody is, it's like everybody wants to collect. Everybody wants to get that one piece or, add to their collection or add to filling their sets. A couple things I wanted to point out with our auction right now. I want people to hone in on, there's some items that don't even have one bid, and there's tons of value. Lots 147 to 152.
Hold on. Ellen, you're not listening.
Lots 147 through 152, these autographed Jim Brown vintage cards. Talking about an investment. It's they're vintage cards, great autographs on them. The unopened stuff. Also, if you go to the back in the memorabilia side, there's some game issued and game used bats. They come from the nephew of Chuck Connors. So, there's some really cool bats like Gary Carter and Robin Yount. There's a Robin Yount jersey to Mike. There's an autographed photo of Frank Sinatra to Mike.
Nice.
Really, really cool stuff. There's still some, incredible value. The memorabilia section. There's DiMaggio and Mantle. Plenty of unopened. It's just incredible. What we're off. It's over 1,800 lots, and it closes this Saturday. The 15-minute rule will take place at 7 p.m. our time, 4 p.m. our time, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll have the 15-minute rule, but there's just a ton of stuff. Babe Ruth, payroll checks, Lou Gehrig signed autographs, tickets, debut ticket of Michael Jordan, Pele, Tom Brady.
Wow. Very cool stuff.
Oh, good stuff. Wow.
Very cool stuff.
Nice.
Hey, Dan, is the modern market crashing?
It just depends. People have to understand if there's 20,000 PSA 10s of one card, you kind of just have to do the simple math. Is that an investment? Are you going to buy it because you just want the Luka Doncic, base prism rookie card for your collection and call it a day? It comes down to low pop, is high value. If you have high pop, you're mainly collecting, it's that card. I mean, it was at $2,000 at one point, the Luka card, rookie card, and now you can get them for around $300-400. So you just have to be careful where you earmark your money.
Your opinion on a card I bought. I've asked a couple of people this on the air. I purchased an E90-2 Wagner. A good investment.
Is that from the Black Swamp?
No, it's an E92 with the blue background.
Yes. I mean, again, low pop. Anything of the first Hall of Fame inductees. Ruth, Wagner, Cobb, Johnson. They're the guys that Mathewson. These names will always be household names, and people will always want to collect that type of stuff. So
I got to be honest with you, man. You guys, I've had a lot of fun this year with Memory Lane. As I said, my wife is ready to throw me out the window, but some really cool stuff that I was able to buy. I'm very, very pleased with.
Cool.
Very pleased.
And go with that 1903 scorecard. On a serious note, that's the type of thing where you can name your price later on. Again, it's the rarities. I've seen JP do it time and time again. And the biggest thing in this business, you can't be patient. You cannot, there are a lot of people that just dump stuff because they're worried and everything. Be patient, and the value on rarities will always be there.
His name is Danny Wulkin, Memory Lane Auctions. We love you guys, man. You guys have been with us since day one, 7 years ago. Been a sponsor of the show. 1933. Go to memorylaneauctions.com.
MemoryLaneInc.com.
I'm sorry, MemoryLaneInc.com. Get your bids in. There are some amazing pieces. Danny, say hi to JP and to Joe and to the gang over there, and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, really Happy New Year, Dan.
Guys having us, and Happy New Year to both of you. Safe and successful and healthy 2023.
Thank you. Rico, I'll be heading south in a couple of days, and we have a couple of appearances lined up that you don't know about that I will talk to you about when I get down there. Red Sox Nation, baby, here we come.
Oh, no, okay.
All righty. With that being said,
take care.
Glad you got down there safely. Danny, take care. And to our viewers and listeners, happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.